Delusional confidence beats being realistic. So I've talked about before how your state of being, what you are projecting energy-wise, the outer reality that you live mirrors that. It reflects that. So if you live in a constant state of worry, life will continue to provide experiences that are worrisome. If you continue to live in a state of fear or shame or lust or distrust, life will present experiences that match that resonance and give you things to be fearful of, to be guilty of, to be lustful of, to be ashamed of, etc. In that sense, life is quite objective. It mirrors perfectly your dominant state of being. Now ask yourself, is this reality real? Seems quite real. We've got our meat suits. When you touch things around you, it feels quite real. When you have emotive experiences, it feels really real. But is it real? Or is it just a game? Is it a simulation? Is it a matrix? Everything that's become quite popular in terms of describing the world we live in, there's a reason people talk about that, and it's worth thinking about. Is it real? Or is it like a collective mind net of thought energy interacting with itself and taking physical form? Is it just an energetic dance? Who knows, right? Who knows? And I wouldn't spend too long thinking about that. But what has being realistic done for anyone? Because realistic, I think, is synonymous with pessimistic in some respect, or it's like being realistic is limiting, or it removes the miracle from life. The miracles that you read about and hear about, and you might say, well, that's not real, or that doesn't happen to me, or that would never happen to me. That's a realistic saying, right? Oh, that's cool, I would never win the lottery. Alright. And that realistic attitude is part and parcel of disbelief, or not having an open mind in terms of what is possible in this world, and you end up limiting yourself by being realistic, and you don't you might rule out massive shifts and jumps in your life because it's unrealistic as per the kind of model that you have in your mind, right? I can't go from this administrative or analyst job where I earn 50,000 a year to suddenly being the CEO of a small business. That doesn't typically happen, so realistically that won't happen to me. And you create this belief, you create this limiting belief, this core belief that then prevents it from happening. Your desired reality, as we've said before, is in your hands. You have the power to choose your own fate. through your energy pattern that you project to the law of attraction and to the universe, which mirrors back to you, and the tool that you have, your creative imagination. Creative imagination being not just visualizing and dreaming, but full embodiment, full feeling. When we fully embody and feel like something is true, that is a union between the heart and mind, has a very strong, clear message to the universe, which responds accordingly. So we've talked before about kind of clearing the system first, so you have a blank canvas with which to use this tool by removing these limiting beliefs, this realistic attitude. You know, if it is a simulation, or it's just a dream, or it's not real, then nothing technically is realistic. There is no realistic situation. When you go to sleep at night and you have a dream, what's realistic about any dream? You know, from one moment you might be flying, another moment you might be a samurai, who knows. But if you take your waking life to be more like a dream, then there is no realistic. Alright, so that's the kind of being realistic. Why that's just useless. It doesn't do anything for you. It limits you. You've conceded defeat on your desired reality before you've even started. You know, I feel like I am uncharismatic, ugly, broke, blah blah blah. And realistically, if I work for 20 years and save everything, then realistically I can finally retire, and if I get a good haircut, blah 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 blah. But that's the kind of realistic, slow route. Takes a lot of striving, takes a lifetime. Good luck. That's going to be a lot of wasted energy. The alternative is to make use of your energy, make use of your imagination, and assume or embody a feeling of that which you want to be, which sends a signal to the universe, as long as it's united between the heart and mind and very clear and coherent, and it will come back to you. Very simple. I'm not saying it's easy. To remove the limiting beliefs you have, not just in your lifetime, but you have generations worth of limiting beliefs. You might have grown up in a household with scarcity, and you might not feel like you deserve things, or you can't get things, or you might have crooked teeth, or you might be balding, or I don't know, you know, whatever your situation is. And then you identify with that and feel like that is your reality, and you assume that reality. You identify with the avatar, the meat suit. You see yourself in the mirror, and the perception is, I am this and that, and you've already locked in the belief. You've already locked in the realistic belief. So the first part, the not so easy part, simple, not so easy, is to remove all of that. And then replace it with something different. A good model to take into your day, and then I'll get into the delusional confidence. I'll get into that, but a good model is to, instead of identifying so much with your body and your being, take the route of a game or a film or a TV show, and start to see yourself as just the character, and this being your avatar. And you, that part within you that you know is there, that is beyond the thought and beyond anything else that's limiting, that piece of you that asks all these kind of questions and is an existential, etc., that part of you, make the assumption that that part of you is the writer, director, and the avatar is the actor of a script, of a movie, or a game, or whatever you prefer, and go about your day that way. So if you're in a situation where you have not much money, you're chopped, you're struggling for this and that, you're in prison, I don't know your situation, start to feel like, okay, my character's in this situation, and start to say, well, I have the power to rewrite this, so let me rewrite where he goes next and how he navigates out of it. And you just start to create a little bit of space between yourself and the avatar, the character, and then you can start to pull yourself out of the mud of some of the limiting beliefs, have a blank canvas, do some practice of imagination, start to imagine through both visualization and embodiment, like feeling of states of reality that aren't confirmed by your immediate environment. So if you're broke, or if you're struggling for cash, can you start to see your character as, or feel them being rich, or on the path to being rich, but feel it, visualize it and feel it. It takes practice, because you have this kind of monkey mind that will say, well, you're not. Well, have you checked your bank recently? So it's and don't fight that. Just almost disassociate from that, ignore it. And then one of the most powerful things that you can do is make this actor have exactly the same life as you, but instead of being downtrodden or struggling or in despair, have them delusionally confident. Like, how would I have this interaction if I was delusionally confident? Watch movies, watch films, watch games, see how they did it, and just start to be that. Just start to be that. Like, who cares about how you're received, or who cares what people think? That's part of the changing the energy flow. You don't need external validation. Be confident, delusionally confident, even if you don't have much to be confident about in your current reality, because what that's going to do is you're going to start to, as you do it slowly, as you assume that reality and you become, or you really embody that, your outer reality is going to change. And we know what happens with confidence. Confidence is like a magnet. It's a magnet for relationships. You'll get women and men, whoever you are and whatever you're into, they're all attracted to confidence. All of them. They might have different preferences on accents and hair colour, and they might have different preferences. So don't start thinking that you're God's gift to women or God's gift to men. That's not what I'm saying. But they're all attracted to confidence. Opportunity. Everyone wants to hire someone confident. and knows what they're doing, or has the confidence in themselves to learn and succeed in the role, or whatever the case may be, business opportunities, they flock to people that are confident. Your family, you start to be a real presence in your family. You will start to develop a confident aura, and that's going to seep into other areas of your life. You're going to start to understand by doing this, and it's the clearest shift that you can get by being delusionally confident instead of being realistic and downtrodden and limiting and only seeing one way out of this situation. By being confident in yourself, delusionally at first, it's going to be delusional at first. Act it. You've been gifted a starring role in this embodiment, and he's in this situation or she's in this situation, and they got to find their way out. But damn, they're confident. They're confident of the outcome. They're confident they'll make it. So start stepping into that, and that will be a very clear shift. Intruder alert. That'll be a very clear shift, and you'll start to then break the limiting beliefs, get into the core beliefs of really believing that you can actually change your reality. That is probably the deepest core belief that is so stuck in our subconscious and in our being that we live in despair and we don't see a way out, because we believe we don't have the power to change it. But I'm telling you, as a human that works from the inside out rather than taking validation and taking cue, or like believing the outside world and taking the energy in and letting that dictate how they feel, being their emotional feeling, thought energy is a result of the outside world. You're not in control. You don't feel in control. You feel weak. When you start to go, okay, I have the power to choose to be delusionally confident, and I'm gonna go approach this girl and talk to her, and if I get rejected, that's her loss. You have the power to choose your perception of everything. You have the power to choose to perceive each loss, each rejection, each failure as a learning lesson that you can be grateful for, a step closer to the desired outcome. So that's my message today. If you're able to, it's not, as I said, it's simple, sounds simple, it's not easy, because we have these core beliefs, we have these limiting beliefs that are pretty sticky, and we're not always even aware enough to have the space to see them for what they are. Sometimes you're so stuck in it. I've been there as well. You're so stuck in it that you can't even see that this is just a thought pattern that's going around in your head and poisoning your energy system and giving a mixed message to the law of attraction. Or it's even not even a mix. Maybe it's a very clear message that this person thinks that they're worthless, so they're not going to be. They're not going to receive abundance, opportunities, relationships, etc., because that's how they feel. So the universe mirrors that. So if you see this, when and wherever you see this, give it a go. Just play with it. Don't have to be too serious. If this is all a dream and this is not real anyway. If that is the truth, who knows? If it's just a game, then have fun, play the game, enjoy it. Choose to be delusionally confident. That's way better than being realistic. Upgrade your avatar, express yourself, be authentic, and have fun, and watch how your whole situation changes through this shift in perception and shift in resonance, and have fun.